A further halacha, which helps us to understand the position of women in Kriyat Megillah, Tafresh Pei Tet, Seif Bet. Echad HaKorei, v'echad HaShomeh min HaKorei, Yatsa Yedei Chovato. The reader and the listener both accomplish the mitzvah of Kriyat Megillah. Like Tchiyat Shofar, the one who blows the shofar and the one who hears the shofar being blown, they accomplish the same thing. V'hu, the Shulchan Aruch says, she'yishma mimishu chayav b'kriyata. That you have to listen to the Megillah being read by somebody who's obliged to do the mitzvah. And therefore, if the reader is in the category, is a katan, is someone who is not yet obliged to do the mitzvot because he's not bar mitzvah, hashomea mimenu lo yatsa. Right, so you have this issue that a person who reads the Megillah has to be obligated to do the mitzvah of reading the Megillah in the same way that people who listen to the Megillah are obliged to be yotzei, to do the mitzvah of reading the Megillah. V'yesh omrim, the Shulchan Aruch continues and says, there are those who say, shenashim einam motziot et ha'anashim, that women cannot read the Megillah for men. Now this is a kind of an amazing statement that the Mechaber makes, because we started out by saying that women are obligated just as men are obligated. Shafheina Yubot HaNes, that they were oppressed equally by Haman. And therefore it was clear to Chazal that the obligation is exactly the same. So why would it be that women, according to the Mechaber, cannot do the Megillah, the mitzvah of Megillah, for the women? The Mishnah Berurah explains. And he says, it's not like the candles that we light on Hanukkah. Because we know that if the husband is not home, the wife can light the candles on Hanukkah, and everybody has done the mitzvah, at least according to Ashkenazim. Because a Megillah reading, in many ways, is similar to Kriyat Torah. And the Mishnah Berurah says, and therefore, since by Kriyat Torah we say that women should not read the Torah for men, because of the issue of Kvod HaTzibur, the honor of the community, it's not accepted. We know that this is an issue in modern times, but we're going to stick to the Mishnah Berurah right now. So the Mishnah Berurah says that even though the obligation apparently on the men and on women is exactly the same, and even though theoretically women should be able to do the mitzvah for men just as they do the mitzvah of Ner Chanukah for men, but since Megillah is done in public, out in the open with a big crowd, you shouldn't have women reading the Megillah for men. You remember he's explaining the Mechaber. V'lachein afilu liyachid einam motziah mishum lo plug. So you would think that a woman could read the Megillah for another woman, not for a tzibur, not for a lot, but there are two women, so one reads for the other, that would be a viable option. So he says, and Mishnah Berurah says, lo plug, that we don't usually do that. We don't say, in one case she can do it, in another case we can't do it. So the Mishnah Berurah says, in theory, women should be able to read the Megillah even for men. In practice, the Mechaber says, don't do it. Along comes the Ramah. Right? Remember, the Mechaber is in Tzvat, and the Ramah is in Krakow. So the Ramah says, Yesh omrim, im isha kor'a la'atzma mivarechet l'shmo Megillah, she'eina chayevet b'kri'ah. So the Ramah mentions a secondary halachic problem. If women are not supposed to read the Megillah for the tzibur, so it may be that if b'di'evet, in some de facto situation, they do read the Megillah for themselves, for example, so they should say a different bracha. not likro et ha-Megillah, not to read the Megillah, but to say the bracha lishmoa Megillah, because that's really their obligation, to hear the Megillah, since they shouldn't be readers of the Megillah. So the implication here is that the Ramah has opened it up a little bit. And while the Ramah does not disagree with the Mechaber, who said that a woman should not be motzi men, and he explained that, the Mishnah Berurah explained that's because it's not kavod hatzibur, and therefore a woman should not even read for a single man. But obviously, the Mishnah Berurah must think that she could read for a single man, but we arbitrarily decided she shouldn't do that. But she could obviously read for a single woman. So we've expanded our sense of things. On the one hand, women are obliged to do the mitzvah of reading a Megillah. On the other hand, women should not read the Megillah for a tzibur, but women could read the Megillah for another woman, for several women, as long as it didn't have kind of the notion of tzibur. I would say that the implication is that since Kriyat HaMegillah is about Pirsumei Nisa, about spreading the word, and it's something that you do well in a tzibur, that if a woman has a choice, if she can either go to a small Megillah reading someplace or other, or go to shul where there could be a lot of people, I would imagine that the preferred way is to go to shul and listen to the Megillah, just as 99.99% of all the men in the world go to shul and listen to the Megillah.